Hey guys, my name is Massimo, and today I decided to have some fun in Battlefield 4 by running around and knifing everyone that I came across. I've done something very similar to this in the past, but you know me, I always like to make things more difficult and challenging, and so I also completely turned off my UI. This was one of the coolest things that I've done in quite some time because it was like this epic cinematic knife expedition. Granted, it did revolve around a whole lot of luck. Because I'm not using my mini-map and I don't have that information at my fingertips, there were numerous occasions where I would run out in the open into the gauntlet, not realizing that it was a gauntlet, and then get fired upon from a million different directions. There were a lot of times where I would see one lonesome individual heading from objective to objective. I would give chase trying to run him down, but then halfway through, normally I would have realized that their entire team was congregated around that one capture point, but because I don't have that information, I continue the chase. I may eventually get the knife kill, but then I'm gonna die half a second later by 1,000 different enemies. Those humiliating deaths though, those moments just made it all the sweeter when I was able to kill 2, 3, or even 4 people, and honestly made this video and made it one of the coolest and most cinematic things that I've done in quite some time. The maps that I was having the most success on, and it's gonna seem very obvious, was Flood Zone and Pearl Market. What makes these two maps magical is the fact that there is just an incredible amount of nooks and crannies and alleyways that you can take advantage of that will hopefully allow you to flank around, catch your enemy by surprise before they even realize that you are there. Like, that's the key component, of course. The one thing that I loved about it is that I was able to peek my head out on Flood Zone, get a general idea of where the action was, a general idea of where the enemy was located, and then duck back down into my little hole, into the bowels or underbelly of Flood Zone, and then use those little rooms and secret passageways to get up and hit them from a different angle. I cannot tell you how satisfying it is where you know an enemy is hunting you. He thinks that he's the hunter, you're the prey, you got your tail between your legs, you're running away. He thinks that he's gonna be able to get a free kill on you, but then at the last second, you duck behind some barrels, you jump out of a window, you flank around, he kind of loses you for a little bit, and then you knife him right in the jugular. It is one of the most glorifying things that you can do in Battlefield. I mean, I'm using my visual and audio cues, I'm listening to his footsteps directly behind me, you know, he shot at me, I realize that someone wants my body, and then just to be able to turn the tables on him like that, and turn the tables with a knife, not using a primary, not, you know, just doing a 360 no-scope in his face, but using a knife and taking advantage of the environment. Whew, it is very, very satisfying. The one thing that I did take away from this entire experience, though, is that the knifing system overall is pretty stupid. The fact that I can charge at an enemy with a knife who's using an assault rifle, he's already put 2 bullets into my body, run past him slightly, and then turn 90 degrees and go through an animation and secure a guaranteed kill, feels dirty. It feels like I'm abusing the system, because I'm assuming DICE created the counter knife to make sure that this doesn't happen. The fact that you are bringing a knife to a gunfight, they are looking directly at you. Yeah, if you go for the knife, you have that slim chance of coming out of it alive, as long as the enemy has no idea what they're doing or it doesn't glitch out for them. But for the most part, you're gonna be down on the ground a few seconds later because you brought a knife to a gunfight. But the fact that I can then turn the tables once again on the enemy by simply just running past them slightly and then turning 90 degrees and knifing right in the jugular, it feels wrong to me. It feels off. I know that some of you might argue, hey, you're taking advantage of the mechanics in the game. That's skill. You're using skill to come out on top. But in my eyes, it just solidifies that the entire system, I don't want to say is necessarily broken, but doesn't make a whole lot of sense and could use a lot of improvement. Personally, I am glad that in Battlefield Hardline, they are reverting back to what it was like back in Battlefield 3. If you can't remember the Battlefield 3 system, you could still go through those humiliating knife animations as long as you hit them from behind, but as soon as you tried to hit them from the front, it wasn't a guaranteed death for you, because instead of the counter knife system, you would just slash them in the face doing 50% damage. You were still not likely to come out of it alive, like you're bringing a knife to a gunfight and you're trying to slash at their face, but at least it doesn't guarantee guarantee your death and doesn't come with the frustrations of having the enemy turn at the last second, face you, and then prompt them to go through the counter knife. In my opinion, is a vastly superior system. I wish that Battlefield 4 would just revert back. I know that's never going to happen, but I am very glad that in Hardline they are making the necessary changes in my eyes. And then lastly, if you couldn't tell, I had a lot of fun editing today's video. Granted, it did take a lot of work. It took a lot of time, not only just to get the gameplay to make a fun video, but then to stitch it all together and make these just, in my eyes, amazing transitions. I love this stuff. I get off cool transitions, and because the knife animations are dramatic and they're flamboyant and they're really exaggerated, it makes it really easy, and I wouldn't necessarily say easy, but it makes it for just super smooth and cool transitions that just makes it so much fun to edit. And so I hope you guys appreciated the transitions. I hope you guys appreciated the gameplay, because I had a lot of fun. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this cinematic knife expedition that I partook in. I had a blast. I hope you guys did as well. But until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.